Sports at 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning to you. It is Tuesday. It is March 27th.
Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Roads are dry this morning. Hopefully they'll stay that way for the morning commute, but it's going to get messy tomorrow.
Storms are in the forecast, as our weather team has been talking about now for just about 24 to 48 hours. Let's get an update now from meteorologist Mike Osterhage.
Yeah, same complex that we actually started looking at last week, and it did, long-range models were very consistent, and now this has come to be, and we're looking at even a couple of showers right now, but then late tonight and tomorrow is going to be the best opportunity to see anything strong and or heavy. As far as rain, what we're showing up, we've got a couple of showers and thunderstorms way up there to the northwest, and then this line of showers that's been moving through, and even a couple of heavier downpours, maybe. Let's see, a couple of lightning strikes had been picked up, so don't be surprised if there's a little bit of lightning in this line of rain that has moved through Rock Springs, is now heading in toward Lakey. And then a little bit further to the east, right there up in portions of the hill country, notice how there's a couple of spots of rain that are showing up around, say, Fredericksburg and north of Blanco. Not a lot of it, but just kind of an indication that more is going to be developing throughout the day. 71 degrees here in town, 73 Gonzales, and 72 right now. Hondo temperatures are 20 degrees above normal right now. And we're not going to be as warm later on this afternoon as what we were yesterday, just because of the cloud cover and as well as some of the showers. 70 this morning, so steady temperatures. You really don't need a jacket. Grab an umbrella, though, just or a light rain jacket, just because we'll see some of those showers continue to develop throughout the day. Showers and a few thunderstorms with a high temperature up to 80. More rain tonight, and then overnight and early tomorrow, like I said, is when we're going to have the biggest threat for some potentially severe storms and heavy downpours. More on that and a look ahead to a fantastic weekend. Details in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic. It's been a fairly quiet morning, but I see a couple of barrels now on the map.
Well, that's for some construction we had overnight, but we actually have two accidents in the clearing stages right now. First one is a major accident. We're going to get to that when a motor vehicle ended up in a house. Now, we're looking at the 3400 block of Culebra Road, right there in the corner of Culebra and 34th Street. We have emergency crews there, as well as at this minor accident here, I-10 at 410, and it's actually underneath there. And as you can see, the reflection from the flashing lights doesn't seem to be causing too much of an issue, but nonetheless, it is there. So just keep in mind if you head out this morning in that direction. Mark?
Thank you, Marcus. New this morning, a man says he only heard the gunshot when he was seriously hurt overnight. Police found him with a bullet wound. This happened on the northeast side at 410 in Parambital. Josh Skurnick is live downtown at Public Safety Headquarters. Josh, do police have a suspect?
From what the victim told police, it seems that the bullet came out of nowhere. This all happened around 11:30 last night as the victim in his 20s was walking down the access road between Cherry Ridge and Vance Jackson. Shot in the groin, the man walked to a Shell gas station to get help. He went to University Hospital in serious condition. Reporting live at Public Safety Headquarters, Josh Skurnick, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Josh. Also new this morning, San Antonio police are looking for the suspect in a shooting at a Northwest Side motel. Now, this happened on Fredericksburg near Medical Drive. Police say the victim was shot in the chest by someone at the Budget Suites motel, and we're told the victim had been involved in some sort of argument, or fight earlier in the evening. Later, a car pulled up. Someone inside fired gunshots, hitting the victim. He was taken to University Hospital in critical condition. Our Katrina Weber will have the latest on this story coming up in our next half hour.
New this morning, San Antonio police have little to go on finding out who shot a man on the northeast side overnight. Police say the man was walking down Judson Road when someone drove by and fired shots. He was hit in the leg and taken to University Hospital. He's in stable condition. We know the victim's in his 20s. He was not able to give police a description of the suspect or the vehicle they were in.
Also new this morning, a 42-year-old man is accused of sexually abusing a girl for at least 4 years. Robert Hancock is charged with continuous sexual abuse of a young child. This is a previous mugshot. According to the affidavit, a 16-year-old girl from Live Oak told police she was sexually abused since she was about 11 or 12 years old. Live Oak police began their investigation and arrested Hancock.
Victims of cop killer Sean Puente's criminal past testified during the punishment phase of his capital murder trial on Monday. They told the court stories of fear and terror. Puente is facing the death penalty for the murder of San Antonio police officer Bobby Deckard. Our Paul Venema was in court as week 4 of Puente's trial began.
Convenience stores seem to be one of convicted cop killer Sean Puente's favorite robbery targets. That's how prosecutors say he supported his drug habit. Puente had allegedly robbed a Northside convenience store in December of 2013 and was fleeing from SAPD officer Robert Bobby Deckert when he shot the officer to death during a high-speed chase. Last week, the jury found him guilty of capital murder in Deckert's death. Among punishment phase witnesses, a manager of another store Puente is accused of robbing. He said that I saw my life flash before my eyes as Puente waved a gun in his face and demanded money. Prosecutors say they're nearing the end of their punishment witness list. Next up, the defense. Puente's lawyers tell me they'll call at least 25 witnesses, including mitigation experts and family members. What they won't tell me is whether they'll call Puente. In Jordanton for Good Morning San Antonio, I'm Paul Venema.
New developments this morning from the White House. There's word that President Trump's son-in-law and senior advisor, Jared Kushner, is facing new scrutiny over $500 million in loans made to his family's business. Meanwhile, there's a new legal fight in the Stormy Daniels saga. ABC's Diane Macedo has the latest.
This morning, the White House is pushing back against adult film star Stormy Daniels.
The president doesn't believe that any of the claims that Ms. Daniels made last night in the interview are accurate.
Daniels broke her silence on 60 Minutes about an alleged affair with Trump in 2006.
And you had sex with him?
Yes. More than 22 million people watched the interview, and according to a Washington Post report, the president was one of them. And while he's been publicly silent, the report says behind closed doors, the president is calling Daniels' allegations a hoax. Daniels says she also signed a non-disclosure agreement in exchange for $130,000 paid by the president's personal lawyer just 11 days before the election. Now experts say that payment could be considered an illegal campaign contribution. The White House says the president himself didn't know about the payment.
I can say categorically that obviously White House didn't engage in any wrongdoing.
Meanwhile, there's new controversy surrounding members of the White House staff, including the president's son-in-law and senior advisor, Jared Kushner. The Office of Government Ethics is now investigating $500 million worth of loans Kushner's family business received after Kushner held meetings with those companies. And the New York Times reports that President Trump has discussed rehiring his former staff secretary, Rob Porter. Porter resigned last month after being accused of abusing his two ex-wives. The case also prompted new scrutiny of security clearances in the West Wing. Diane Macedo, ABC News, New York.
In consumer news, the Dow roaring back after rallying more than 600 points. That's one of the biggest point gains in history. Analysts hope a trade war with China can be averted. All this on an extremely busy day across all continents. The Chinese have avoided an aggressive response after all their inviting negotiations. Right now, it is just about 6:08, 71 degrees.
Some say music is a language of its own, but can a sense of rhythm be linked to your child's academic success? That story is just ahead.
Live look outside with City Cam. We are on storm alert as we head into later today and especially into tonight. We'll get an update with Mike coming up next.
Now through March.
The VA hospital in San Antonio was named after Audie Murphy to honor the veteran who had fought for extended health care benefits to war veterans and increased study to the emotional impact of combat experiences. As a teen, Murphy joined the Army and became one of the most decorated American combat soldiers of World War II, receiving every military combat award for valor available from the U.S. Army, including the Medal of Honor for single-handedly holding off an entire company of German soldiers for an hour and then leading a successful counterattack while wounded and out of ammunition. Suffering from what would today be known as PTSD, he made it his mission to share his experience with others so that they could benefit from research into the psychological effects of war. Following the war, Murphy enjoyed a successful 21-year acting career, then died in an airplane crash in Virginia shortly before his 46th birthday and was buried with full military honors at Arlington National Cemetery.
San Antonio's Tricentennial Moments on KSAT 12 are powered by Frost Bank and Sierra Cars, Trucks, and RVs and Christus Santa Rosa Health System.
Just about 6:13. Welcome back to Good Morning San Antonio. Singing, dancing, tapping your feet. It takes skills to have good rhythm, but being rhythmically in tune can mean more for your child than just being able to keep a beat.
What about snapping your fingers?
I've got rhythm, but not really.
Myra Arthur explains.
Getting a child to combine words and a phrase to make a sentence may be as simple as helping them feel the beat to their favorite song. Researchers at Vanderbilt University gave 25 typically developing 6-year-olds 2 tests, one measuring grammar skills and the other measuring music skills. They found those who did well on one test also did well on the other, regardless of socioeconomic background or IQ. This suggests children who can detect rhythmic variations in music may have an easier time putting sentences together. Parents can help their child feel the beat by engaging in musical activities together. Have kids sing along to music while they clap their hands and tap their feet, learning language to a new beat while still having fun. Myra Arthur, KSAT 12 News.
What is it about looking at little kids jumping around and having fun with music just makes you smile?
They still have more rhythm than I would ever have.
You have rhythm.
I do?
Yes, you can sing too.
Oh, wow, that has nothing to do with rhythm.
It's in your coffee, Mouton. Good Lord.
No, you do. He has a good voice.
Thank you.
You, on the other hand, Michael.
Wow. She dragged you right into that, didn't she? Don't, Christian. She'll have to log back in, and it's a complete distraction for 45 more minutes.
What was that? Oh, yeah, they agree in the booth. Sorry.
That.
He can't sing.
Marcus.
Here, you can weather that. No.
Marcus, help. Help.
Okay, let's take a look at the accidents that we have here. 2 accidents working. We have one major accident, 3400 block of Culebra Road, then a minor accident. That's going to be on the eastbound main lanes of I-10, right underneath 410 over on the east side. So as we zoom in closer to this major accident, early indications are reported that a vehicle struck a house. We do have a crew on the way to try to get us some additional details. That's right on the intersection of Culebra and 34th Street. Next, let's go over tier 2. Now Mike's pouting in the corner. Now let's go over here. This is the minor accident, eastbound I-10, right underneath 410. So headed back out towards Seguin. So keep that in mind. A little bit of a slowdown. Hopefully we'll get the record there and get that vehicle out of the way and get everything moving once again. Now, everybody knows that it's 6:15 in the morning, 71 degrees, but today is March 27th.
Special day.
Big deal.
Because 19 years ago today,
there it is. Okay.
My wife and I got married, and that's our wedding photo there at the Southwest Craft Center. So happy anniversary to my beautiful wife.
Dapper young man.
I don't know what happened to him, but she still looks just as beautiful.
He's still dapper, and you're right about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
To you and Chris. You guys are a great couple, and you have 2 beautiful kids.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Happy anniversary, honey.
And I am allowed to tease you because I can't carry a tune either. I can't.
Boy, this is true.
In church too, right? Yeah.
No, I
okay.
No,
anyway.
No.
Well, on the serious side, we do have a chance for some severe storms later on tonight. There's nothing out there right now. As a matter of fact, we're not seeing any rain here in town, but overnight and into tomorrow is when we're going to see some of the potentially strong to severe storms. I love that picture with all the hummingbirds. Just getting a little snack as the sun rises in Pleasanton. That was yesterday morning, of course. Beautiful, beautiful picture. That's great. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. Oh, needless to say, is way up there. 4,130. Mold is still on the higher side, and it more than likely is going to be going up when today's reading comes out later on this morning, just because of the extra humidity out there, and that'll be the case tomorrow as well. Like I said, nothing is showing up here in town as far as any precipitation, but we do have the showers out to the west. We had that cluster of thunderstorms, which has pretty much moved out of the picture, but then this line right here, and as this loops back through, notice how there were a couple of lightning strikes that were detected on radar, and then there are a couple of showers even just to the north of town, a few of them scattered about in portions of the hill country. So we'll start to see a few of these showers continue to kind of pop up throughout the rest of the morning as well as going into the afternoon. Temperatures are 20 degrees above normal, upper 60s, low 70s. You don't need a jacket this morning, but an umbrella just in the back seat is a pretty good idea. Dew points, measure moisture in the atmosphere, remain in the mid to upper 60s, and that's going to be the case through today through tomorrow. Then they will be dropping off, so we've got some really pleasant air moving in here later on in the week and the weekend. First of all, computer model for today. Scattered rain. Again, not everybody's going to be seeing rain throughout the afternoon, but we'll have a few of those showers and thunderstorms and even into tonight. Then late tonight and basically in the overnight hours is when we'll start to see the heavier, potentially severe storms. The majority or the heaviest thunderstorms and most severe look to be further up to the north with the main brunt of the energy up there, but we'll still have some of them in our area. Heavy downpours can be expected. High winds and some small hail would be the biggest threats with some of these storms. And then we will continue to see that throughout about, say, mid-afternoon. Then they'll begin to taper off and slide off to the east. The Storm Prediction Center does have the slight risk for severe weather, and this would be late tonight for basically the hill country and pretty much right along 35, and then that will slide down to the east of I-35 in the overnight hours, and tomorrow then that will move on out of here. Now, as far as the rest of the week and going into the weekend, that's what's in store upstream. Just beautiful, beautiful weather, pleasant temperatures, just about normal readings as we get in toward the latter part of the week. So today, 75 degrees at noon, a couple of showers, a couple of thunderstorms will continue to pop up and develop, and then a high temperature today up to 80s, a lot lower than yesterday's 87 degrees, thanks to the cloud cover out there. Late tonight and early tomorrow, that's when we see the heavy, potentially severe storms, with high winds and hail being the biggest threats. 65 starting off, but only 76. Then we clear out Thursday. We get down into the 50s thanks to some drier air in place. And with that dry air in place, that allows temperatures to get down to normal readings. So we'll make it down into the mid and even some lower 50s by Thursday morning, Friday morning, and Saturday especially. Beautiful, beautiful day. Beautiful on Friday for Good Friday, Saturday, as well as Sunday. A couple of showers are possible on Monday. Not a washout there. Not a washout, though, I should say, and beautiful for Easter Sunday.
The Easter Bunny's going to be very happy.
Everybody in their little Easter bonnets and all dressed up.
With all their frills upon it?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. 619, 71 degrees.
So I didn't sing that. Okay. Yeah. Arizona has suspended Uber's testing of self-driving cars. That's coming up.
It's time.
In this morning's GMA First Look, we're learning more about Stormy Daniels. Her senior yearbook photo showing the then aspiring journalist choosing this caption: "We will all get along just fine as soon as you realize that I am queen." Today, the adult film actress lives in Texas with her 7-year-old daughter and husband. And one of her favorite hobbies, riding horses. Even seen here competing at an equestrian event, but that's on hold for now. Daniels saying in a recent interview that she doesn't want to expose the equestrian world or her daughter to the circus trailing her now. One reason she says she initially signed that confidentiality agreement:
I did not want my family and my child exposed to all the things that she's being exposed to right now, because everything that I was afraid of coming out has come out anyway.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have more about a new legal move by Daniels, amending her lawsuit against President Trump and his attorney Michael Cohen. With your GMA First Look, I'm Kenneth Moten, ABC News, New York.
624 in your morning consumer headlines. Home improvement chain Lowe's needs a new boss. Chairman and CEO Robert Niblock is retiring after 13 years on the job. Profits at Lowe's, which has nearly 2,400 stores, dropped last month by 16%. Niblock will stay on in an interim role while the company looks for his replacement. The announcement sent shares of Lowe's up about 5%.
Well, there won't be any more self-driving tests for Uber in Arizona. The governor suspended those tests after a woman was struck and killed by a driverless Uber car. Uber has temporarily canceled all of its driverless tests while the Arizona accident is investigated.
We could see some new products from Apple today. The company's holding an event at Chicago Technical High School. That school setting has raised speculation about a new MacBook Air since it's popular with students. Reports also say a new iPad will be unveiled.
Red Lobster trying a briny take on a classic. Instead of chicken and waffles, how would you like to try lobster and waffles? The lobster is fried and the waffle is made from the same recipe as the restaurant's Cheddar Bay biscuits. Then the whole thing is slathered in maple syrup. So far, reactions online have been decidedly mixed.
Also here in the studio,
I say, ugh.
Mike says yay. I said I'm not sure. I'm on the fence.
You would try it.
Yeah, I would try it, but I'm still not sure.
No way. Joey, our producers, no way, too. 6:25 now and 71 degrees outside.
Let's take a look at the roads with TransGuide. Just got a push alert from Officer Marcus Trujillo. Stalled 18-wheeler westbound. Let's see, where is it? Westbound 151 Access Road underneath Loop 410.
Words lead to angry gunfire here on the northwest side. One man fighting for his life. I'm Katrina Weber. I'll have that story coming up.
The U.S. taking a firm stand against Russia, expelling dozens of Russian diplomats. I'm ABC's Serena Marshall with the story coming up.
And it could get a little bumpy around here. Showers and thunderstorms are in the South Texas forecast. We'll get an update from Mike in just a moment. Welcome back, everybody. It's Tuesday. It is March 27th.
Thank you so much for being with us. We'll get to you and talk about those storms that are coming our way, but hopefully, well, I already know there's some problems on the roadway.
We do have a couple of accidents, but they're on the clearance stages. And now, though, over on the west side, we're looking at Highway 151, the access road where it goes underneath 410 westbound, stalled 18-wheeler. So that's slowing folks down just a little bit.
So even though it's on the access road, it's still in a not a very good spot.
It's that very heavily congested area where we have all that construction.
Thank you, Marcus.
So the storm's still on tap to hit overnight.
Yes, mainly overnight and tomorrow morning, first half of the day tomorrow. We will see a few showers and thunderstorms developing throughout the day. As a matter of fact, there's a couple of them out there right now. Nothing here in town. Haven't seen any reports or anything showing up even on any of the TransGuide cameras. Lots of clouds, lots of warm temperatures. And we had this one cluster way out to the northwest earlier this morning. And then this line, which was almost non-existent a few hours ago. And it has started to pretty much form up. There were a couple of lightning strikes that were detected earlier this morning as well. And that will continue to kind of drift to the southeast. And then a few more little spots of rain are trying to pop up even out ahead of that up around Austin, even north of there. So that's just a little indication of how things will continue to develop later on this morning and throughout the day. 71 in town, 68 in Carrizo Springs, 69 up the road in New Braunfels. Temperatures, again, are about 20 degrees above normal this morning. So you won't need a jacket. With umbrella is a pretty good idea. A couple of showers around this morning and then a few showers and thunderstorms again will develop throughout the late morning hours and this afternoon. But then it's going to be late tonight and especially overnight and about this time tomorrow when we'll see the heavier thunderstorms, potentially heavy downpours and potentially severe storms, high winds and hail being the biggest threats. And that will go through about mid to late afternoon. We'll start to see that come to an end and then things begin to clear out later on tomorrow night. And after that, through Easter, we have great weather, nice, pleasant conditions out there, plenty of sunshine. Couldn't ask for better timing on that, not only with Easter, but also folks visiting for the Final Four. Details coming up in a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. So you said that stalled 18-wheeler is at 410, 151?
410, 151 area mark where we have all that construction. And it's going to be in the access road of westbound 151, right underneath 410, right underneath where all those bridges are. Then we still have that minor accident in the clearing stages eastbound Highway 151 underneath 410. So just polar opposites of the city, both just a little bit of a slowdown. Let's take a look at where that 18-wheeler is located at. You can see there's the reflection of the flashing lights right underneath where we have the construction ongoing for those connector ramps. But so far, no major delays as a result of either one of those situations. Leslie?
Thank you very much, Marcus. New this morning, he used his words. Someone else had a gun. Police say a man was shot after an argument at a Northwest Side motel. All of this happening on Fredericksburg Road near Medical Drive, which is on the northwest side, not very far from I-10. Now, we understand that the bullets began flying after the arguing was over. Let's check in with our Katrina Weber. She is live with details. Katrina?
Now, according to what police told us, that argument or fight had happened earlier in the evening. Then just before 11 o'clock last night, someone drove up in a car and fired the gunshots, hitting the man in his chest. The victim, who's in his 20s, was rushed to University Hospital, and at last check, he was in extremely critical condition. The shooter sped off in a car. Police did search this area, but they came up empty-handed. Reporting live on the northwest side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. San Antonio police are hoping you can help them track down a man behind a dangerous robbery. It happened back on March 10th. Police say the suspect went into a Circle K in the 2500 block of Austin Highway and bought a lighter. When the clerk opened the cash register, the man grabbed it, tried to get away. When the clerk tried to stop him, things got violent. Police say he hit the clerk in the face with the cash register. So if you recognize this man, you are urged to call Crime Stoppers at 224-STOP. and there is up to a $5,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest.
Other headlines this morning, the co-owner of Schlitterbahn has been arrested here in Texas. Jeff Henry is facing numerous charges, including murder and 12 counts of aggravated assault. This all stems from an indictment listing Henry as the visionary and designer of the water slide where that 10-year-old boy was killed back in 2016. According to a report in the Kansas City Star newspaper, Henry was arrested Monday down in Cameron County on warrants out of the state of Kansas. Caleb Schwab was on a raft that went airborne at Schlitterbahn and was internally decapitated when it hit a pole. The 47-page indictment alleges the ride did not meet safety standards and warnings were ignored in order to meet deadlines. This is a second arrest. On Friday, 29-year-old Tyler Miles was also arrested. Schlitterbahn released a statement on Henry's arrest saying, in part, considering the allegations from Friday's indictment of Tyler Miles, we were not surprised at the actions taken by the Attorney General to charge Jeff Henry. We as a company, as a family, will fight these allegations and have confidence that once all the facts are presented, it will be clear that what happened on the ride was an unforeseeable accident.
In your morning headlines, the Trump administration has taken a firm stand against Russia. Punishment for the poisoning in Britain of a former Russian spy and his daughter in England. The U.S. is standing alongside our European allies, expelling dozens of Russian intelligence officers from the United States, and Russia is vowing to retaliate. ABC's Serena Marshall is in Washington with the latest.
It's the largest expulsion of Russian diplomats from the U.S. in history. 60 Russians forced to leave. A Russian consulate in Seattle shuttered. Punishment for Russia's alleged poisoning of a former Russian spy and his daughter with a nerve agent on British soil.
Together we have sent a message that we will not tolerate Russia's continued attempts to flout international law and undermine our values.
Worldwide, more than 100 Russian diplomats sent home. A coordinated campaign by 24 countries. Russia's foreign ministry called the global removal provocative and that they had nothing to do with the poisoning and warned they will respond. Their embassy in D.C. mocked the move, posting this Twitter poll asking followers to vote on which U.S. consulate they should shutter. The Trump administration claimed 12 of those kicked out were operating under the guise of diplomacy.
By limiting the ability of Russia to spy on Americans and conduct covert activities that threaten America's national security.
It's the toughest action against the Kremlin to date, and the move highlights the disparity between the administration's words and actions. 2 weeks ago, the president said this on the poisoning.
It certainly looks like the Russians were behind it.
But last week avoided condemning Vladimir Putin for the attack when he called to praise him for winning re-election.
We will probably get together in the not too distant future.
The White House says there is no discrepancy, that the president wants to work with Russia, but sometimes their actions don't allow it. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
Back here at home, it's just about 6:37. We're still locked in at 71 degrees.
A local group of women shaking things up in the beer business. After the break, what they're doing to break the mold.
Welcome back, 6:40 on your Tuesday morning. There are dozens of breweries in the Alamo City and surrounding area, and it seems like new ones keep popping up.
You sound like you know that firsthand, the way you said it.
A little bit.
A local group says that they want to beat the stereotype and get more women behind the brew.
Max Massey spoke with Girls Pint Out and has their story.
A beer is a beer, no matter who pours it, no matter who brews it.
Craft beer in San Antonio is growing by leaps and bounds, and I think that with each big step that it takes, I think that there's always someone else ready to kind of knock it back down. So we have to do our due diligence. We have to get out there. We have to promote craft beer.
Tracy Hungate and Jackie Romero are part of San Antonio's Girls Pint Out, a local group of women who get together to enjoy craft beer and even, in some cases, brew their own.
Craft beer scene blowing up is just a testament to all of the familial aspects of the craft beer community. We all are friends. We treat each other like family and we support each other. It isn't really about competition at all. We all support each other.
Erica Teague just opened Cactus Land Brewery in the last year and recently spoke at the Institute of Texan Cultures. Her main point? The rise and importance of women in brewing.
Women drink wine, but that's not really the case anymore. And women do love beer, and sometimes we're afraid to say we love beer and to say, to talk about it.
And Teague has a special message out there for any woman who's interested in getting into brewing.
Don't be scared. There's plenty of room for women to be in this industry. It's not just a man's industry.
As for Hungate and Romero, they say this is only the beginning of more craft beer in San Antonio and more women in the industry.
Beating the stereotype, that's exactly it. We always tell women, let me beer you. Let me find a beer for you that you're going to like, that you're going to enjoy. That is kind of our mission.
Max Massey, KSAT 12 News.
Girls Pine Out.
I love the name. It's great. You are a craft beer fan, though, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, that's not very enthusiastic.
Well, no, I do. I do like craft beer, but I have some normal mainstays, too. I'm a German lager fan, too.
Oh, that's shocking.
I know, right? But isn't it amazing? You walk into any local grocery store, especially H-E-B, and I mean, there seems like there are millions of different kinds of labels for different craft breweries.
There's a ton of different choices out there for that. Yep. Let's check on the roadways and see if traffic is looking any better. We know we had that one problem, at least with the 18-wheeler.
And as we take a look at the roadways, Mark and Leslie, right now, that minor accident eastbound I-10 underneath 410 over on the east side, that has cleared out of the way. We do still have that 18-wheeler underneath 410 on the access road of 151. As you see, there's the reflection from the emergency lights there. Underneath 410, the westbound 151 access road is where that stalled 18-wheeler is. 604 at Babcock, not too bad there. And then take a look at 35 at South Cross. Traffic starting to pick up both on the north and the southbound lane. So, yeah, it's Tuesday and you have to go to work and get up early, but at least enjoy the dry roads today for this morning commute.
Could be a game changer, these storms that are coming in.
Yes, which means tomorrow morning is going to be probably a very difficult commute for a lot of people.
Yeah, just to expect that. But then after that, it's going to be fantastic. So we've got this pretty good bump in the road. It will be nice to see some decent rain, although in some places there may be a little bit too much rain. But a lot of it's going to be, you know, soaking in pretty well. So,
yeah, I need some more rain, I think, at my house.
I do too. I just cut my grass the other day, or the weeds, grass, whatever you want to call it. And it could use a little bit more rain. Saw that picture last hour, and I love that one. There's a couple more in here that I wanted to point out. We saw that one and the blue bonnets there. Just a nice little sampling of all of our KSAT Connect pictures. Thank you very much for all of those. Love the spring flowers, although the spring oak is not something that anybody really loves that much. 4130, yeah, it's way up there with all that just stuff, all the little things that are around and all that yellow dust hanging around here. No, your eyes don't have to rub your eyes. That picture was a little bit out of focus, but one thing to point out, that we don't have any rain, at least showing up here in town. We've had those few thunderstorms out there way northwest, and this line, which was holding together for a while, now it's kind of fizzling out somewhat, but we'll still see there's still some energy in the atmosphere right now, and so we'll see more of these showers developing throughout the morning. And then further up north of pretty much north of our viewing area, north of Austin, we've got a couple of just stray showers here and there. So not a lot of rain right now, but more will develop over the morning and into this afternoon. Temperatures are averaging about 20 degrees above normal right now. Of course, there's a lot of humidity. Dew points measure moisture in the atmosphere, mid to upper 60s. That's going to be the case through the day today as well as tomorrow. Then we'll start to see drier air come in here, and that means beautiful weather for the rest of the week, the latter part of the week and the weekend. Computer model through the afternoon. Again, it's not widespread. Not everybody's going to be seeing rain all the time, but just a few of those showers and a couple of thunderstorms, and that's going to be the case into tonight. And then it's overnight and tomorrow morning where we see some of the heavier, more widespread, potentially severe storms. Rainfall amounts, maybe 1-3 inches of rain in and around a lot of these heavier storms, and some localized heavier amounts than that. And high winds. Winds could be in excess of about 50-60 miles per hour straight line winds. That'd be the biggest threat, as well as a little bit of small hail. And rain will stick around through probably about mid-afternoon, and then it will continue to work its way on out of here. So we do have the slight risk for severe storms, basically north and west of 35, and that's late tonight, and then that will work its way as the line of rain moves through here, work its way across the area through tomorrow, and then start to taper off by, again, late tomorrow. In behind that, we have got a great stretch of weather. Yeah, there's actually cold enough air out there, and it's higher elevations, obviously, in Colorado, New Mexico. None of that, but some nice cool mornings, pleasant afternoons, and that's going to be the case through most of the weekend. looking great for Easter as well. 75 degrees today at noon. Showers, couple of thunderstorms scattered about the area. Again, not everybody's going to be seeing rain all the time, but it'll become kind of filling in a little bit as the afternoon rolls on. 80 for a high temperature today. Wind out of the southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then late tonight is when we'll really start to see some of those stronger storms fire up and into tomorrow morning. So this time tomorrow, it does look like it's going to be a fairly wet commute. Again, severe storms are possible, as well as some heavier downpours, and that will begin to taper off by later in the day tomorrow. And then Thursday looks fantastic. Look at those low temperatures just slowly kind of creep down. 55 starting off Friday, 53 on Saturday. Beautiful for Good Friday and most all of the weekend. A couple of extra clouds around here on Easter Sunday. A few showers on Monday. But again, for all the folks coming to town for the Final Four, beautiful, beautiful weather around here and great for Easter Sunday.
Lots going on this weekend, so Mother Nature is being nice. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Right now it is 6:47, 71 degrees.
Got a peek outside the city, Kim, as we head to break. What time does the sun rise now? Like it's 7:45?
About 7:30. Let's see, exactly 7:29.
Oh, it's 7:29, so still a little bit to go. We'll check again on traffic and see how your morning commute will shape up.
It looks like words weren't enough. Someone turned to gunfire after an argument here on the northwest side. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. A man in his 20s has been left with serious gunshot wounds. I spoke to a guest at the motel where it happened. He told me he woke up to the site. Police officers outside his room at the Budget Suites on Fredericksburg Road. He says there were about 5 gunshots late last night. The police say they came from the gun of someone in a car. That person drove up shortly before 11 and fired at a man, hitting him in the chest. He was rushed to a hospital and was in critical condition. As far as we know, police have not caught the shooter. They say the man who was shot had been involved in an argument or fight with someone else earlier in the evening, and sometime later is when the shooting happened. Reporting from the northwest side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
The New Jersey General Assembly approved 6 gun safety bills Monday, sending them on to the state Senate. The proposals aim to keep guns away from people who pose a threat, reduce how much ammunition magazines can hold, and strengthen background checks. They also seek to ban armor-piercing ammunition and counter efforts to weaken gun safety regulations. Meanwhile, Florida Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz is pushing for her new House bill to mandate background checks on ammunition purchases. She attended Saturday's march and said her heart is filled with hope.
I can assure you that that Saturday was day one. Saturday was a launch pad. So anyone that thinks that that was the end is sadly mistaken.
Saturday's rally participants heavily criticized Florida Senator Marco Rubio for not distancing himself from the NRA in the wake of the Parkland shooting. He says he's making progress bolstering background checks, among other things.
I'm working with at least half of the Parkland families directly to come up with common sense, common ground solutions to move us forward. And we've already achieved the Stop School Violence Act. We achieved Fix NICS. And we're moving forward now on the red flag laws.
I'm Andy Rose reporting.
This morning, the White House is pushing back against adult film star Stormy Daniels.
The president doesn't believe that any of the claims that Ms. Daniels made last night in the interview are accurate.
Daniels broke her silence on 60 Minutes about an alleged affair with Trump in 2006.
And you had sex with him?
Yes. More than 22 million people watched the interview, and according to a Washington Post report, the president was one of them. And while he's been publicly silent, the report says behind closed doors, the president is calling Daniels' allegations a hoax. Daniels says she also signed a non-disclosure agreement in exchange for $130,000 paid by the president's personal lawyer just 11 days before the election. Now experts say that payment could be considered an illegal campaign contribution. The White House says the president himself didn't know about the payment.
I can say categorically that obviously White House didn't engage in any wrongdoing.
Meanwhile, there's new controversy surrounding members of the White House staff, including the president's son-in-law and senior advisor, Jared Kushner. The Office of Government Ethics is now investigating $500 million worth of loans Kushner's family business received after Kushner held meetings with those companies. And the New York Times reports that President Trump has discussed rehiring his former staff secretary, Rob Porter. Porter resigned last month after being accused of abusing his 2 ex-wives. The case also prompted new scrutiny of security clearances in the West Wing. Diane Macedo, ABC News, New York.
Tonight, our Spurs will be back in action. They'll be taking on the Wizards in Washington, D.C. Tip-off is set for 6 o'clock Central Time. Right now, the Spurs are still in 6th place in the Western Conference standings.
Let's check on the roadways once again. It's 5 minutes before 7. Marcus, any new accidents to report?
Unfortunately, yes. Take a look at the map, folks. What you're looking at, that is 410 over on the east side. So we're looking at the northbound main lanes of 410 right there at Houston Street, right before you reach I-10 for an accident. Now, as we take a look at TransGuide, traffic is starting to pick up. Take a look at 35 at South Cross. That's not too bad, but this is Highway 90 at Medio Creek as you're approaching 410 coming in from Hondo. It's very, very congested. And then still have that 18-wheeler underneath 410 at Highway 151. Mike?
Not much rain, a little bit showing up on radar right now. We will continue to see some showers and thunderstorms. Notice how a few more are developing out there to the west right now, way out west. A few more throughout the day, 70 right now in town. And we'll make it up into the mid-70s at noon, 80 for a high temperature. And then overnight tonight, late tonight, overnight into tomorrow is when we'll see the potentially severe, potentially heavy storms. And after that, beautiful weather Thursday, Friday, and the weekend.
Oh, we're going to be spoiled for a few days. Okay.